Wednesday's Word for Women show remix. I hope you have been having a fantabulous week. It is hump day, so I hope you're making it. Hope you kept some of your joy. I pray that as you go about your day and the rest of the week, we remind ourselves that nobody can kill our vibe or steal our joy if we do not let them. We know that our attitude and our responses and reactions to anything and anyone actually is our responsibility, is on us. And sometimes what we have to do is flip through the Rolodex of our mind, grab a hold of something to be grateful and thankful for, to shift our mood, because gratefulness and gratitude will do that. Because one thing we know for sure, you and I get to set the atmospheres of wherever we are. We don't have to let that atmosphere infect us. We get to affect wherever we are. And so I pray that you do this. Okay, I want to talk a little bit some hard subject. Okay, this forgiveness thing. Oh my gosh, let me get my words right. Let me say it right. Because y'all know God is yet working on me. He is nowhere near through with me yet. So I got to choose my word carefully, because ratchet champagne can flip out. You know, she can say something wrong and harshly, and that's not what I'm trying to do. Because I love y'all. But we got to have a powwow. We got to have a committee. We got to have a conversation. So, forgiveness. I don't know where this ideology straight from the pits of hell has so came from and so dominated this culture in us. From the church to the White House to the whole house and this house and that house, trap house, whatever house. This erroneous mentality that forgiveness is just like, you can do whatever, you can say whatever, and I forgive you, and that's it. Here's the thing. I freely do give you forgiveness. But that trust you have to earn. I freely forgive. I forgive you. I give that. I give the forgiveness. You have to earn the trust. But the consequences of your actions are not erased because of forgiveness. I don't keep putting myself in harm's way because I forgive you. Sometimes the most forgiving thing I can do is get the hell away from you and stay away from you and allow you to be out here dealing with you and yourself. But I forgive you. Forgiveness does not mean that I accept you and we just go on like there is no work to do. That's not what forgiveness is. You cannot harm me, hurt me, break my trust, and then I forgive you and everything is okay. That's not even forgiveness, for real. So we have to get a handle on what it is we are actually out here doing. Because if you are setting up a false relationship, if you're setting up a false principle, if you're setting up a false way of operating, you're going to get those results. And here's the thing, boo-boo. If it is not truly forgiveness, if you are doing it and you're trying to force it and you are allowing components that are not forgiveness at all into you trying to forgive, you gonna mess up you gonna mess up the person. The relationship is not going to work, and that is not what God asked you to do. I don't know why it is that we are cheapening grace and mercy and making it something ugly and making it something used to abuse and use people. It is supposed to be the most freeing thing. It's not supposed to keep us bound and beat down. Forgiveness is freeing. That's why God wanted us to forgive, because he knows hate is a burden, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, too heavy, burdensome to bear. That's why forgiveness is for us. So you can't expect, hear me clearly, you can't expect, it's February, it's love month, you can't expect authentic love to be had if the lie of forgiveness is between you and I. You cannot expect true relationship and true healing and true reconciliation and true moving on to happen if you are not keeping forgiveness in its proper place. Let me tell y'all, sometimes forgiveness looks like, I forgive you and I don't talk to you again. Ever. Shocking to you, isn't it? But that's forgiveness. That's how some forgiveness looks. If you are forgiving something or someone, and it is a danger to you or danger to your loved ones, you don't forgive and then place yourself right back into. That's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is releasing that person from the consequences that you would then put up, of the just judgment that you would put on them. You are releasing them from the consequences and leaving it to God and leaving it out there, and then dealing with the effects of what that action did on you. That is forgiveness. It is releasing them from the penalties they would pay from you. I release you. And did you hear that? I release you. I release that tie between you and I. Okay? And so you staying in it, that's not forgiveness in some cases. And then here's the thing. Maybe it's not extreme. Maybe it's not, the sexual abuses and all these things that we have endured, or, emotional, physical, psychological, or it is, for whatever reason, it's harmful to you to be there, or your family members or whatever. Okay. Sometimes that's just a bye. I chuck the deuces. I get on and heal and deal, and I leave you. I pray for you and release you, right? Now, then there is the forgiveness where we actually are not going to break a tie. We are going to reconcile. But here's the thing. Forgiveness does not mean that I give you my trust back. I freely give you my forgiveness, but my trust, you got to earn back. You can't, God ain't ever said that we just forgive and act like nothing happened. That's not forgiveness. There is consequences to our actions. Yes, I forgive you for it. But then, boo-boo, we've got to then you do the work to earn that trust back. And I question the authenticity of someone who is apologizing and wants the relationship back after damaging it or harming it, and you trying to dictate to me a time limit, or you just get over it. I question that, because I freely give you my forgiveness, but boo, you got to earn my trust, and how you earn that trust is actually going to be different for each of us. But if that relationship is one, if that tie, if that connection is one that is supposed to be, or we want to be, you are going to go ahead and do that. If you can't, we got to stop faking the funk like things are okay when they're not okay. That's why we're imploding. We're filled with depression and anxiety because we are not dealing with what the issues and the consequences of people's action have done with us. There is no spiritual amnesia. I can forgive you, but I got to work some stuff out. We've got to work some stuff out. And that is not just an automatic thing. And so don't feel bad if you feel like, okay, I forgive, but you still feeling the effects of it. That has to be worked out, y'all. Forgiveness sometimes is a daily thing you have to do, but what you also have to consciously have in your mind that you're doing, but what you're also having to do is hold people accountable. Forgiveness is not saying you're not accountable for your actions. That ain't nowhere in no Bible, no, nothing that I've read. So there is always consequences, but that doesn't mean that that my forgiveness isn't valid. So some of us think there's a problem because if we feel like we don't forgive. No, we're just still dealing with the consequences. So you just keep on trucking. And just because I accept who you are, acceptance don't mean it's acceptable for me. This action or this thing, that's not acceptable for me. Like it's not. Just because I accept you don't mean you're acceptable for me. And that's okay, y'all. So y'all, we're going to have to stop allowing people to manipulate us under the guise of forgiveness and acceptance. No, I'm not judging you. Hey, you cool. That's you. But if it ain't acceptable for me, it's not acceptable for me. And that's okay. Stop making people make us feel like our feelings aren't valid. And we do not have to hold people accountable. That's the problem. Nobody's being held accountable for anything. And look at the state of what we are, y'all. Look at how things are around us. Look at how we deal with each other. Look what's going on because we are acting like the acceptable is something, what's accepted is acceptable. Excuse me. We're acting like what's accepted is acceptable. Some of this mess is not acceptable ever. It's a no. It's a strong no. And so we've got to be bold and courageous enough to really, really grab a hold of this in your life. Oh, this will get your life. It will free you up. And you will find that you will be more forgiving. You will find that you will get over stuff sooner because you're allowed the time and you're allowed whatever steps it takes for you to forgive. Forgiveness does not mean that I trust you. Y'all remember that. Forgiveness don't mean trust. I freely give forgiveness. Trust you have to earn. Acceptance does not mean acceptable. Just because I accept you does not mean you're acceptable for me. And so, guy friend, girlfriend, the biggest gift we can give to people is authentic forgiveness and the courage and the boldness to accept people for who they are, but not have what they're doing be acceptable and not being afraid to say it. So I hope you start thinking about this. We got to get this right. All this fake love, this fake forgiveness, this fake, it's time out for all that. It's not working. How's that working for us? It's not. So we need to get it together. We need to get our life. We need to get it right. Be blessed, y'all. I pray that you have a fantabulous rest of the week. It is now time for Ask Pastor Payne.
Hello, Pastor Payne. My question is, how long or to what extent is one expected to turn the other cheek?
So, yeah, Jennifer asked a humdinger. Okay, so the question is, how long or to what extent is one expected to turn the other cheek? How long or to what extent is one expected to turn the other cheek? Okay, like I am going to give a disclaimer here because this is one of my things that the Lord has to work very, very hard on me with. But let's start with the origin of the question. So it comes from a scripture in Matthew 5:39. It's a biblical principle to turn the other cheek. Somebody slaps you, you turn and give them the other cheek. Well, first of all, we need to clear up. Like slap, the original word was smite, and that means like a sudden offense, a sudden you got slapped with an action, a disrespect, or an unexpected insult or offense is what smite actually meant. But anyway, it's not people like, oh, you get to slap me here and you get to slap me. No. But it is a biblical principle. What Jesus was actually answering was the eye for an eye, the tooth for a tooth. That mentality, the revenge mentality. He was rejecting the revenge retaliation and causing injury back. That's what he was rejecting. He was saying it's not cool for a tit for a tat. The eye for an eye, that's not cool. I know that's not popular, but I know that's hard as heck, because you want to, you do me, I do you back, but I do you one better. Like my pull-up game is strong. I get it. I know. But what he was rejecting is the revenge and retaliation causing injury back, because he also gave us a promise. Now, this is what we forget, us that struggle with the get back game. Revenge is his. He will deal with folk. He really will. He said, revenge is mine. Don't take revenge for yourself. It's mine. I will leave them to me. I got this. But we fail to allow him to, because we know at the end of the day he's a good God, and we don't want nobody to be loved up after they mess. We don't want nobody, we don't want no grace and mercy for other people. We want it for ourselves, but we don't want it for them. And so what he is saying is allow him to deal with it, because we really can. And the ultimate goal is for people to get healing with their ratchet behind, so they won't continue to do this. And so you want to lead them to God, because he will get you back in a way that'll change your life, that'll make you get your life together. That's what he's saying. He is just rejecting the revenge and retaliation causing injury back. It's not here. It's not implying that we're supposed to put ourselves in danger. Like it doesn't mean forego consequences. It doesn't mean that we're folks that just sit passively by as things are happening. So how long or to what extent? And it kind of reminded me of how it says how many times am I supposed to forgive my brothers? It kind of had that little connotation to it too. How long? I say to you, how long is it safely for you to be dealing with this person or this thing? To what extent? You don't even have to deal with people, as I said earlier, but What he doesn't want it to do is hate to then take over in your life. Like he doesn't want you, because they are hateful, because they're evil, for you to then be evil and you to be hateful. That's what he's trying to get across. So it doesn't get rid of the consequences. It just gets rid of the revenge and retaliation. So turning the other cheek, hard. Yeah, we really do got to do it. We've seen it play out, how ugly it gets when you give hate for hate. Once again, Dr. Martin Luther King said, I choose love. Hate is too heavy a burden to bear, and it really is. That's for us. That's for the person who is getting done wrong. He doesn't want that mess infecting us, and so that's why he says, yo, I got this. You let me be God and do me, and you just go about the business of not letting it infect and affect you. That's why he said it, because revenge and hate hurts us. It gets in there and it does a thing. It changes us into people we didn't know we can be. It makes us do things that we would never think possible for us to do. So this is actually a protection for us. So how long, man, however long it takes for you to effectively deal with the situation, and sometimes there is a cutoff, but love never fails. I can't not say that. Love never fails. You can believe, you can hope, you can do all that, but it can be separate. It doesn't have to be in the same vicinity, the location or whatever, in relationship. And so if it is unsafe and harmful, that's too long. But you never give up hope. You never give up praying for people. You never give up wanting the best to come out in people, and you never get over wanting them to be better and to do better. But the cutoff game is when it affects you negatively and you are in harm. That's too long. It's too long. So I hope I answered it, and you guys have a blessed week. Girl,